Can you read that again, please?
Absolutely, here it is again. Introduction. In the high-stakes realm of defense contracting, where billion-dollar budgets, national security imperatives, and breakneck technological change collide, only the most intrepid and adaptable firms will thrive. Enter Peregrine Technologies, a startup founded in 2021 by CEO Sarah Thompson, a former Air Force fighter pilot on a mission to revolutionize defense capabilities through the power of artificial intelligence, AI, and autonomous systems. Fresh off a $10 million Series A funding round, Sarah and her eclectic crew of engineers, data scientists, and military veterans are ready to brave the complex and often Byzantine world of Pentagon procurement. But as they'll soon discover, winning hearts, minds, and contracts among the Department of Defense, DoD brass, takes more than just cutting-edge tech. It demands a deep understanding of the unique culture, incentives, and pain points that drive the world's largest bureaucracy. Luckily, Sarah and her team are no strangers to high-pressure missions and daunting learning curves. With steely resolve and a healthy dose of humility, they embark on a journey to decode the riddles of defense acquisition, and just maybe make history by dragging the DoD into the AI age. Strap in for a wild ride of fleet-footed startups, mercurial military muckety-mucks, and the indomitable power of innovation in service of the mission. Chapter 1, Know Thy Enemy, Market. Sarah knew Peregrine needed a crash course in Defense Acquisition 101, so she dispatched her data ninjas to scour every open source intel trove they could find, from GAO reports to LinkedIn profiles of program managers. If data was the new oil, they'd strike it rich before ever stepping foot in the Pentagon. Bleary-eyed nights of web scraping and keyword crunching later, patterns emerged from the noise. The intricate org chart ballet between OSD wonks, service branch grandees, and combatant command coins. The ponderous pirouette of PPBE budgets and JCIDS requirements, somehow always a half step out of sync. The tangled tango of FAR clauses, DFARS provisions, and bespoke other transactions, with primes and subs jockeying for lead. Sarah distilled it all down to a single searing insight. In the DoD market, he who understands the incentives and the influence holds the keys to the kingdom. So Peregrine would need to map the complex web of stakeholders and power dynamics shaping every procurement, the formal org chart, yes, but more importantly, the invisible lines of informal authority and alliance. They'd need to sleuth out which rising star action officer was desperate for a win before their next promotion board, which grizzled SES was nursing against a legacy contractor, and which COCOMs were jostling for budget share in the next POM cycle. In this great game, Intel was the edge, and Sarah was determined to deal from a stacked deck. But even the sharpest market intel was worthless without the relationships to activate it. So Sarah earmarked a hefty chunk of their A round to building buzz and credibility among the DoD's key tech and acquisition influencers. She instituted a weekly Yoga with the Yodas briefing series, inviting retired brass and wizened SES veterans to dish on Pentagon lore over downward dog and decompression cocktails. Her engineers dutifully queued up for 5:30 a.m. DC Capital Crunch sweat-working sessions, comparing whiteboard battle scars with their SOCOM brethren on Murphy bounding box drills. Sarah also made a religion of walking the walk on all things innovation. Peregrine would open source its algorithms, white hat its own cybersecurity, and evangelize the gospel of AI ethics, until even the crustiest admiral would concede that maybe, just maybe, a flyboy CTO with a black belt in Bayesian probability really could be good for solving the DoD's hardest warfighting challenges. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Sarah directed her deputies to lay the laborious groundwork of unsexy compliance. They pored over SAM.gov updates, huddled with DCMA auditors, and scoped out SCIF space to house their classified cloud enclaves. Agonizing as it was to divert precious cycles from product dev to NISPOM checklists and DD Form 254s, Peregrine needed to speak the native tongue of Pentagon Mandarin. If they couldn't fluently enumerate their CMMC Level 3 controls or expound on the arcana of ITAR data provenance, they'd forever be pigeonholed as dilettante disruptors, unfit for the heavy lifting of delivering mission-critical and audit-compliant capability. After all, they weren't some app-slinging programmer shop peddling the latest viral filter. They were would-be stewards of the arsenal of democracy, and that demanded a zealous commitment to InfoSec hygiene and